What are some of the ways you think, when you're talking to the younger set, what are some of the advantages of teaching, say a 16-year-old some of these lessons?
Well, the thing about teaching a 16-year-old as a 46-year-old, I'm 47, it's you have the possibility of compounding the benefits of learning about this early. So, we'll just use the example of a 22-year-old kid. You've got a 22-year-old kid. They just graduated from college. They get their first job, and they're in the best situation possibly if they're, living with their parents, sharing an apartment with 3 other people. When you're at that level of your life, you have the ability to keep your expenses extremely low. One of the things that, you and I have to do, because we've got kids and we've got a huge amount of responsibilities, we've got to make sure that our defense is taken care of first, because of the fact that I need health insurance. Because of the fact that I've got kids, I need to take care of that first. But a 22-year-old kid has the ability to, rather than $200 a month into health insurance, because their parents have still got them on the policy, it's put that into, a stock, an IRA or something along those lines, where it's, you're thinking long-term, and that $100 a month that you're not going to miss, if you can just let that compound over time, it ends up being hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars, depending on how consistent you are with it. So making sure that, you're making those decisions early, as opposed to you're 46 and now you're trying to get your financial life in balance, and you don't have any basis for it. You're already behind the game because you've lost a whole bunch of games. I don't know if you're a soccer fan at all.
I'm a huge Ted Lasso fan. So
you're a huge Ted Lasso fan. Okay. So as you saw in Ted Lasso, is most of the leagues in Europe are 24 teams, which means you have 46 games. All right. I'm doing the math for you. Trust me on it. You've got a 46 game season. If you're a 22-year-old kid, 46 plus 22, that's 66. That's retirement age. So you think of every year as in air quotes, game. And how do you win the game? You end up at the end of the year with more money than you started it with. So that's the whole entire idea. And some people are going to have more aggressive goals, but at the beginning, if you're in your 20s and you're spending all your money on, beach houses and all of that stuff, and you're ending up in the red for, 10 years, 15 years or whatever, and then later on, you don't have the ability to put money into your growth things like your forwards, the stocks and buying into small businesses and stuff, then you're in a situation where you're so far behind, you can't become one of those elite teams. You're in, last place or whatever. Not that you're comparing yourself to other people, but you're trying to, make sure that your financial house is in order from the time that you're 22, not the time when you're 46.
Yeah. It makes so much sense, because I do think we get to that point of life where, whatever habits we've ingrained, if you have to change them at say our age, it's a process of unlearning versus, when you're 22 and fresh and you have energy and focus and like you were saying, a much simpler lifestyle. It's a matter of building those habits, right? So What are some of those habits that you think incrementally are most helpful to someone that's coming out?
The first thing that we did was we turned all of the asset classes into positions. And then also on the other team, you've got, things like taxes, emotional spending, all of that. Those are your defenders on the other team. So in the back of the book, we have 2 worksheets that are your assets, which are your team, and then your liabilities, which are on the other team. And so going through and actually breaking down, where is my money going? I made $2,000, $5,000 this month, whatever the amount of money is, where is it going? Just that simple process of building the skill into your like monthly process, or if you're doing it quarterly or whatever, it's where did all of my money go? All right. And if you can at bare minimum look at that, it's one of those reasons, like, if people were doing it for a long time, taking a picture of all of your food, you want to track what's coming in in order to, get better habits about what you're eating. Same thing applies for this is where's my money going every single month and why is it going there? There's nothing wrong with making decisions about where it is that you want the money to go. Again, going back to the Starbucks example, it's like, if that's important to you, that's completely fine, but you're making that decision. You're not just doing it out of habit. So that's one of the like absolute first steps is where is everything going? Because that's assessing where you are. And then it's, well, what are the things that you want to give up in regards to, like, how many times do I give the ball away to the other team? Where can I learn to not give that ball away? Whether it is I've got too many streaming services and I'm getting rid of a couple of those, as we all know about, or it's, how much longer can I have my my car that is not particularly ideal, but it's paid off? How much longer can I stick that out as opposed to getting a car payment? Figuring out where your money's going and then making decisions about, all right, now that I've decided to hang on to that, now what's the best place to put that within my team so that I am in a better position? Because although we would all love to say, okay, well, I'm just going to put all of my money into the stock market, that's not always the best maneuver either, because there's risk that comes along with that reward. And you've got to figure out whether or not that's the right place to put your money. So that's where I would start.
Yeah, I like all of that. And I think another thing that's coming to mind is just like you say, everyone has different priorities, right? And rather than being, it seems to me it's about being mindful of what you prioritize, right? And how, if you don't know where you're spending your money, how can you know what you really value?